Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Torban, and I'm glad to be here tonight. Before sharing with you my story, I would like to give special thanks to Congressman Joe Polis and to Congressman Joseph Crowley for sharing this story with us. Thank you for giving me, Rowan, and Jonathan the opportunity to witness the functioning of American democracy from within. I hope that more fellows of our program will have the same opportunity the next year. It was a Friday, July 25th, 2014. Israel was facing the renewal of hostilities with Hamas in the Gaza Strip during Operation Protective Edge. Back then, I was just a Brazilian Jew living in diaspora, following the situation through news outlets and catching up with my friends and relatives living in the region. Despite the painful situation in Israel, it was a festive weekend for me. I was graduating from university, and many of my friends were in town to celebrate with me. We went to a nightclub, had some caipirinhas, some Brazilian music. It was just a regular Friday night, celebrating with my friends. After the party was over, we were too excited to go back home. We hadn't seen one another for a long time, so we decided to head to a bar. We took a taxi, and by the moment we got to the place and walked towards the entrance, I recognized a familiar face there. I wasn't sure of his name, but I knew that he was a year or maybe two above me in my university. He was also a social science student as myself. I noticed him leaving his table and walking towards me. It was late in the night, and he had probably had a couple of drinks already. He approached me and began talking to me as if we knew each other. But this wasn't a regular conversation. He had his finger pointed at my face. He was accusing me. "Aren't you ashamed? Why are you doing this? That's just disproportional." I was probably the only Jew in my program, and he knew it. And based on the simple fact, he thought he had the right to blame me. In his perception, I was at fault. I was responsible for what he understood were the shameful actions committed by the State of Israel during the Operation Protective Edge. Everything happened so fast. My friends probably did not understand what was going on. I was speechless. I wasn't expecting to be put on trial based on someone's perception of my identity. And definitely not at 4 in the morning after leaving a party. I took a deep breath, cooled down, and responded. "Why are you accusing me? I'm not part of the IDF, I didn't vote for the Israeli government, and I don't even hold an Israeli passport. And even if it was true, you don't know me or have any idea about my political opinions. So, if you want to have a decent conversation about what's happening, I'm okay with that. But don't define myself based on your preconceptions." He was probably not expecting me to answer this way. As it is common these times, the natural response is often an exchange of accusations and heated conversation. He realized the mistake he had committed and apologized. I accept his apologies. He then tried to explain me, now in a peaceful way, his main points of criticism. And afterwards, I had the opportunity to present him with my analysis of the situation. It should have been easier for me to have just dismissed the whole conversation. But that's just not part of who I am. I feel compelled in discussing issues I think are important, even with people that I might not agree with. It took me some time to process what happened. I was perceived as an accountable Israeli even before having my Israeli citizenship. My identity and being had been defined based on the sole fact that I am a Jew. But I'm more than just the Jew of my university. As a privileged young man, I've lived in a world of fluid borders, which granted me the opportunity of experiencing different cultural settings. These experiences sparked my interest in understanding the other and approaching the unknown. Accusations such as the one against me that night are narrow and block any understanding of the human being that stands before us. As my friend Aya once said, I don't want to fit into a category. I don't want to be defined because my being is larger than any frame. As in any democratic system, people should not be judged and consequently punished based on identities and conceptions imposed upon them. I can only respond for the actions committed by me, Daniel Torban. But unfortunately, there are still groups that believe they will be able to bring peace to the region by collectively punishing individuals, Israelis, Jews, and even the Palestinians they are trying to protect. In the name of an inaccurate conception of freedom, such groups decide to undermine our individual freedom and the freedom of individuals worldwide who engage in actions they don't agree with. If someone doesn't want to buy a certain product, attend a certain lecture, or travel to a specific place, that's his or her rights. But by the time someone wants to impose his or her conceptions on others, sometimes through the use of violence, that's not freedom. That's intolerance. That's the incapability of living with differences. That's an attempt against the basis on which a democratic society is founded upon. Why punish my professors who want to share ideas? Why punish musicians who want to spread art? Why punish individuals that want to cross borders in order to engage with the other? Since I arrived here in DC, I heard many people commenting that the Israeli society doesn't want peace, or alternatively, that the Palestinians are the ones who don't want peace. And I have just one thing to say about that. That's a lie. There is no single human being that doesn't want to believe in peace. The question is not whether we want peace or not. The question is how can we bridge different conceptions of peace. And one thing I can say for sure, these conceptions cannot be bridged through the actions proposed by groups such as the BDS movement. Peace will come by interaction, by getting to know the other. Thanks to New Story leadership, I'm having the opportunity of getting to know Palestinians that otherwise I wouldn't have met. Thanks to New Story leadership, I'm being able to engage with them and understand our differences. And I'm grateful that I can now call them my friends. New Story leadership is overcoming divisive boycotts in bridging our realities. It is shattering preconceptions imposed by our societies and giving color and personality to each one's stories. I'm sure you all understand these sensitive issues, and I know you have the power to help us solve this conflict. Tonight, I wish to request two things. One is to support cross-cultural initiatives, which help to bring understanding to a region full of misconceptions. And the other is to use your power to strengthen the bonds between us by opposing hateful boycotts. Thank you.